The Republican money race is on, but the early winner, well, it may be President Obama. With fundraising reports still rolling in, Mitt Romney raked in just over $18 million in the second quarter. That's enough to put Romney well in the lead, but it's less than he raised as a first-time candidate in 2007, and well below his reported goal of $50 million. And after Romney, that's where the numbers fall right off a cliff. Tim Pawlenty, Ron Paul, and John Huntsman all coming in under $5 million. Pawlenty, in fact, is seeing fundraising numbers closer to Herman Cain's than Mitt Romney's. Ouch. But at least it's better than Newt Gingrich, who's going in the wrong direction. He's reported to be $1 million in debt. As for Obama, sources say his reelection campaign is certain to beat their $60 million goal when forms are filed with the FEC next week. Obama officials have already disclosed that they had nearly 500,000 individual donors give this quarter. That's nearly 5 times the number that the Bush-Cheney reelection bid began with in 2003. Now let's get into the money chase now with Huffington Post social impact reporter and MSNBC analyst Alex Wagner. Alex, Republicans knew they were going to be outspent by President Obama. Are they ready to be this outspent by Obama?
No, I do not think this is good news. I mean, I think that internal memo that you mentioned, Romney had sort of set a $50 million goal. The fact that he's not meeting his 2007 numbers is ugly. And you put that on, you compare that with the fact that there have been predictions that the Obama campaign will make $1 billion in fundraising over the course of the campaign cycle, which is intimidating. I think what it is reflective of a very unsettled field and a donor base that is not particularly happy with anything that's out there right now.
And the number that keeps shocking me when I look at it is Tim Pawlenty's. I mean, this quarter, Tim Pawlenty was getting the rep as the real frontrunner. Mitt Romney was going to be, because of health care and because of other parts of his record, too unacceptable.
Right.
And Pawlenty comes from a purple state, a fairly accomplished governor. He was going to rake it in.
Sure.
But he's getting very little financial support. That's weak.
Yeah, the fact that there's not that much room separating him and Herman Cain, I think, is the last piece of news the Pawlenty campaign ever wanted to hear. The fact that he hasn't been a stronger fundraiser, again, I think is reflective of this idea that in the media, I think we've been very enamored of Pawlenty. He's an interesting candidate. He's not someone that's run for president before, and he's not a retread. So, but when it comes down to it, again, I think you have a donor base that is just saying, can this guy do it? Does he have the fire in the belly after the GOP Republican debates? I don't think that was a particularly strong showing for him. Right. And so, I mean, and to a certain degree, is it such a surprise that he hasn't done better with his donors?
So these Republican donors who aren't jumping in for Pawlenty, for Cain, for others, are they waiting or are they putting their money elsewhere? You hear a lot right now about Karl Rove's Super PAC in the post-Citizens United world. They can put their money in a lot of places. Are they just socking it in a space they think will be more effective against Barack Obama?
Saving it for a Super PAC rainy day. Well, everyone agrees that the influence of Super PACs is TBD, but there's I think a general consensus that they are going to be very influential. And Romney's Super PAC, Restore Our Future, already has $12 million in the coffer for him. They are certainly going to be influential. Crossroads GPS is saying they're going to raise $120 million for the races. There's something to be contended with. At the same time, you can't ignore the fact that these guys need their own war chests. And the fact that the White House has not only the bully pulpit, but 500,000 donors at this point, it's fear in the bones for the GOP.
Now, one person we're not seeing her numbers yet is Michelle Bachmann, who's obviously lighting the field on fire a little. So she just released a new ad. Why don't we take a look at it?
We can't keep spending money that we don't have. That's why I fought against the wasteful bailout, against the stimulus. I will not vote to increase the debt ceiling.
So that's, I think, it's a pretty good ad. It's very nicely produced. It makes her look very mainstream. But is that going to translate into a money draw, or are Republican donors still going to be remembering her more extreme statements that she was known for 6 or 7 months ago?
Sure.
Not all that long ago.
No, not very long ago in the public imagination. And, Michelle Bachmann has been, I think, shrewd in a lot of ways that, say, Sarah Palin hasn't. She's brought Ed Rollins in. She's trying to, tailor her message to more of the mainstream. But you've seen from the various high echelons of the Republican Party, there is great concern about Bachmann and how viable she is as a candidate. In terms of money raising, I think there's a general feeling that she's going to be good with small donations, but is she going to get the big sort of Republican moguls to come to her corner? TBD. I would put my money more with a candidate like Romney or even a Pawlenty before a Bachmann.
And just to go on Romney for one more second, is his numbers and his recent performance, more to the point, good enough to scare another candidate from coming into the race, a Ryan or a whoever you might imagine is the latest Christie, a GOP savior?
Or Rick Perry.
Or is this going to bring people in?
No. I mean, I think Romney, there's this general thinking that, like, hey, he's pretty good. He's an establishment kind of guy. He theoretically has a donor base on his side. But then you get numbers like this, and it sort of upends the idea that he's sort of the white knight for the establishment. I think people want another alternative.
Alex Wagner from the Huffington Post, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ezra.